Chelsea are reportedly close to acquiring shares in Strasbourg, maybe even Portimonense. Jules, the first steps in Todd Boehly's multi-club ownership vision.
It is, indeed. We know that they looked at Lorient, for example, before Bournemouth went in. Strasbourg is a historical club in France, even if they just won one title in 1979.
With Arsene Wenger, right?
With Arsene Wenger, yeah.
With Arsene Wenger actually playing.
I think he might have...
He wasn't coaching. I think he played a couple games that season.
Yeah, I think, or 4 games maybe. They have one of the best fan base in France. Incredible. When they went down because they went bankrupt and they had to start from the bottom again, and they had like 20,000 people in the 4th division. So what you can see a bit in Germany or a bit in England, they have that. So on that level, I think it's good. They've got a decent academy, good academy, especially in the last few years. They've produced some really interesting players.
But this is just a place to park players and have an eye out for youngsters if it happens.
You would think so, like what City are doing with the City Group, for example, and others are trying. Is there a lack of ambition from a Strasbourg point of view to be bought by a club like Chelsea and in a way be very dependent of them? I don't know, but I certainly find it interesting. Not that Strasbourg have had a good season. They're still fighting against relegation. They should be okay, but he hasn't been great.
In fact, there's some reports suggest that this is going to impact the sale price, obviously. If you ever go to Strasbourg, it's the site of the European Parliament, of course.
It is, right. It's right by Germany. Yeah.
And, it's all basically semi-Germanic. But also, there is a miniature version of the Statue of Liberty.
Really?
Apparently, it was the original.
I thought we were going to talk about choucroute.
What?
I thought you were going to talk about choucroute, which is their very famous dish.
Okay, wait. If you're going to go there, go Colmar is right nearby.
Yeah.
It's a much nicer place.
Oh, come on.
Colmar is really nice. Have you been there?
I know, Colmar is
like
nice.
a fairy tale.
Strasbourg. Come on. Sky Germany are reporting that Bayern are prepared to listen to offers for Sadio Mane. Gab, is that the right thing to do? What, already after 1 year you've kind of been him?
If Sadio Mane wants to move on, sure, listen to offers. I don't think you're going to get very many offers for Sadio Mane unless he's desperate to move because he's on a big salary and hasn't had a great season. But if somebody's looking for a quick fix, I think he can definitely still contribute. But I think it's the kind of thing. All right, if we get a stupid money offer that works and he wants to go, sure. Otherwise, you have to make it work with Mane. And I think Tuchel knows that.
Yeah, I agree too.
Chelsea moved a step closer to winning the Women's Super League here in England with a 4-0 drubbing of West Ham. Jules, with 2 games to go, they have a 2-point lead over Manchester United, and there are some big derbies coming up over the weekend.
There is, Gab, you're right. I mean, it was huge win. Not that it was never, I think, in doubt that Chelsea would not beat West Ham to go 2 points clear. Now with the same amount of games played.
Finally. What's it with this league?
Like, it's the same in the Premier League.
I know, but the difference is that Premier League plays 38 games. The women's, one thing I don't understand about the Women's Super League, right? I realize because they play in the Champions League too and whatever.
Yeah.
It's only 22 games.
Yes.
If we spread the season out and find a way so that, you don't have this thing where we've got 4 games in hand.
I know, it's true. This season
it's just disrespectful to the players.
Yeah, it is a bit. But yeah, big game for Chelsea against Arsenal, for example, this weekend, which is huge.
But United have a derby of their own. They play Manchester City.
Exactly.
We're also pretty good,
City.
right?
City have done well this season. Certainly coming back into the conversation, let's put it that way. It's great. This could be where it's all decided, obviously, because Chelsea can win it this weekend, depending on the other results too. And it's been great. And if Emma Hayes wins the double with this incredible team, they came short in the Champions League. We mentioned that. We watched them against Barcelona. It would still be an incredible achievement, really. Juventus defensive maestro Leo Bonucci has announced that he will retire at the end of next season. So in the summer 2024, he will be 37 then. Gab, your thought?
That's when his contract expires. I don't know that you need to go and make an announcement.
I know, it was weird.
Look, I think Juve need to move on. I mean, they need to transition. Obviously, he's still there. I think he can be... It's up to him whether he wants to be this coming season the older guy who helps Gatti and whatever. Some of the other young players develop, plays occasionally. A bit like Chiellini did at the very end. I think then he can be an asset. I don't want to talk about the kind of player he was in the career yet. I'll save that for when he actually does retire.
It feels a bit weird.
Zakaria Abouklal has been suspended by Toulouse. Jules, what's the story? Please tell me it's not related to the rainbow shirts.
It's not, although it's not. But Toulouse has this kind of ceremony because they won the French FA Cup, and the how do you say in English? So she's not the mayor.
She's like
she's the assistant to the mayor for sports. Is that what
yeah? She's like basically in France. There's a setup where every she's kind of like she's in the mayor's office and is responsible for sports in the Toulouse.
That's it. Yeah, Madame Marie Baget. She's obviously a woman, as you can hear. And at some point, when the mayor was doing a speech, the players were in the room, and it was a really big occasion. Some of the players were talking quite loud, including Abouhlal, and she just told them to just lower their voice, let's put it that way, because the mayor was talking. And Abouhlal responded by saying, like, in my country, women don't talk like that to men. And he went on being very disrespectful, very disrespectful towards...
See, you're not in your country, you're in France.
There
are certain mores of...
So he's been suspended now. They're going through an investigation. This leaked, the press, RMC broke the story. And I'm glad that the club took that decision to sanction him and suspend him straight away, and not saying let's wait, let's do this, let's do that. I think he will go in the summer. They're clearly saying that there's no space for someone like him with that kind of attitude in their club. Damien Comolli, and obviously Redbird doing the right thing. I think you might find that a bit extreme. I don't care. This was really disrespectful. There's no room there for that.
But this is not related to his stance, because he was in the headlines recently.
He was also didn't want to wear
the rainbow shirts to support LGBTQ rights.
Yeah. It's not a good week for Abouhlal at all. The United Soccer League in the US has announced a new women's soccer league to being played in 2024 and challenge the NWSL. Gab, what's this about?
So look, on the one hand, I'm glad there's investment and money in the women's game, in a professional women's game anywhere in the world, because I think it's really important to broaden the base first and foremost.
Yeah.
Equally, right now in the NWSL, there's 3 clubs that are currently up for sale, including the Reign.
Yeah, OL Reign. Yeah.
OL Reign. They've been up, which John Textor, after taking on Leon, I guess maybe he's not as much a fan of women's football as Jean-Michel Aulas was. If it's going to be sustainable, if it's going to offer outlets, great. If people just see this as like a money play and let me go and make some money quickly or put some money in, and then it's not going to be sustainable and stable, then I'm not sure this is good. I think they need to have to think about how they model this.
Isn't that counterproductive, or what? Like, how can you have 2 top leagues in the same country?
I'll go further, and you see this a little bit. This is a broader argument about MLS and stuff. Like, MLS is not successful, or hasn't been successful thus far, as a TV product nationally, because you don't have super clubs, right? Because everything is geared towards parity and things being equal. Where it's been super successful has been locally, where they get big crowds and there's people who are into it, and it's a great match experience. Some NWSL clubs are like that. Portland, I think, they've gotten in excess of 20,000 regularly. So clearly that's something that works. You need to think about your model. You need to think about maybe expanding your footprint, maybe more teams around the country. Maybe you have regional leagues to cut down on costs if you can't pay these women a decent wage, because the league minimum in NWSL meant that many of these women had to go and get second jobs in the off season. So maybe you don't need to call yourself a pro league. Maybe you call yourself something else. Maybe, I think they need to think creatively. But I'm all for private entrepreneurship. But I'd like the U.S. Soccer Federation to step in and say, guys, let's think about how we can do this rationally in a way that makes sense.
That's fair enough.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.